everyone. We're back again for the eighth season of the Ocho Trivia Challenge, which will end with 4 years of trivia fun. It's been a good ride so far, and we're nowhere close to done. Are we, Qualls, my faithful co-host? How are you feeling tonight? How are you feeling about the new season?
I'm feeling good. I firmly believe that this league will outlive me. And we're very excited for season 8 because I believe we're going to brand it season Ocho. It's something of a celebration of how far we've come. So very excited for this season.
Yep, new season. We've got a new team in the mix, which is always exciting. It's our first new team in 3 seasons now, off the top of my head. So that's a big thing to look forward to. Reshuffled some players, and we're gonna look ahead to what's coming up starting in just a week. So, as I have already revealed to you all while Qualls was napping, we have our new divisions for this season. They were randomly selected. Here they are. You've all already seen them. But since Qualls wasn't able to make the selection show or the draw, I guess, I want to give you this opportunity to kind of like opine on what you think about the results.
Yeah, we got absolutely fucked. We got absolutely shafted. That was the one team where we were like, oh, they're like Chicken Hawk started pot two. Okay, that's fair. And then oh well, it's I don't know. I somehow we're screwing over Leaf. I'm sure. The Barker division, obviously Sandusky's, which is like they were in that division for historical precedent,
Yeah.
and then they get to play Hive Mind and DBI twice. Interesting. Frank Chester and Hypnotoads, old Trebek rivals, who are now joined by Don't Blow It.
Yeah.
And
The
already,
Pool Boy is the third team in the Sajak division. It's Manchester United, Hypnosis, and Pool Boy.
oh, excuse me. Oh, that's a sneaky
So
tough one.
that's a brutal division too. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see any one of those teams winning it.
You
Uh,
could you could
and
argue
then
that the two best pot two teams and the two best pot three teams were all put in the same two divisions.
arguably, I don't want to take too many shots and say that Barker and Harvard divisions are the weakest, but I will. And regardless, everyone plays everyone. It's just one more game, so it's ultimately you just got to play who's on your schedule. As you
Yeah,
said.
fair enough. All right. Well, it'll be nice to shuffle things around, some new secondary matchups. And speaking of new, we have a new team in the mix. We have the Scarlet Knights, because I couldn't think of a better name because they all apparently went to Rutgers. So we'll talk about them for a second. There's their new logo, little throwback Rutgers homage. Surya, Pap, and Ben. Surya and Pap we've seen before numerous times actually, because both have been in the summer tournament and subs in for Hypnotoads games. Both come from Faw's nearly limitless roster of like trivia enthusiasts that he has on call. And then Ben is Surya's roommate. So Surya had 4.08 points per game in the summer tournament last year, which was seventh overall in the tournament out of 24 players. So that was pretty impressive. So he was basically in the top quarter of players there. Pap was a finalist as part of Faw's team in the last summer tournament, along with Towns and a third kid who I can't remember now. And then we have Ben, who we know nothing about, but he's Sergio's roommate, and his last name is Blitz, which is pretty cool. Cool last name. I think they have a nice logo. So, Qualls, what are your expectations for this team?
It's always nice when you have a new team that has a lot of experience with trivia. They know with the league in particular. They know the format. They know the rules, except for Ben, but that's okay. Pap, I'll be honest, I do not remember, but it sounds like the name for someone's grandpa, and I'm all for that. And yeah, it's nice to finally have some New Jersey representation in the league.
Yeah, that's what we've been crying out for. Yeah, I think they should be a good team. I think maybe not a team with like a well balanced approach is what I expect from this team. I expect Surya and Pat to both be probably in that 4 points per game range. That's already put them at 8 points. Say Ben averages two, he could be really good, but say he averages two, they're already at 10 points. That's a very strong team. So I think they should be a playoff contender for sure. Of course, they're in a tough division, but that isn't the biggest deal. So yeah, so that's all we have for news, more or less. Things pretty consistent. The only like rule change I can think of, other than the new divisions, is that Leaf isn't allowed to use math niches anymore. Um, well, no, I don't want to single anyone out. Nobody is allowed to use math niches anymore.
which is
So
a shame because I spent the whole off season preparing for math niches.
Okay, so we have a little segment here. We call this the new Primos Power Rankings. I guess this is a good time any to mention that Chop House have bowed out. They're no longer with us, as we all know. So what we decided to do here is that Primos is the only player ever to be ejected from a trivia game. So we have decided to predict the most likely players that will get ejected from a game this season or just generally in the future. So Qualls, you get to go first with your number one, and you picked Leaf.
Yeah, I think pretty self-explanatory. He's really drunk the Kool-Aid. He's attacking hosts. He's questioning the integrity of the league. I think it's a potential self-fulfilling prophecy because to prove my point, I could just eject him the second that his first game happens that I'm hosting. So yeah.
Yep, fair enough. And I picked Leaf. I don't really need to go into that, as you kind of gave all the reason there is to it. The lack of math niches will probably only increase the likelihood that he will get really mad, or say that we rigged the league against him for putting him in our division or something along those lines. But anyway, now our lists diverge a little more. Your next was Neil.
Yes, I believe that despite the fact that Neil is technically no longer a member of the league, he could become so irate at the Hypnotoads for missing a seemingly easy question that a host is like, all right, Neil, that's enough, and then just kicks him out.
Fair enough. For my number two, I went with Coop. I think I probably went obvious here because Coop was probably the closest person to ever getting ejected before Primos actually got ejected in a game that you were hosting. Obviously, one of the most passionate players in the league, so it would not be a surprise if he ended up getting kicked out of a game. Number three for you is Craig.
Yeah, Craig, a little bit similar to Leaf in terms of reasoning. Craig is someone who is a bit of a complainer, but is also very good at articulating his complaints, which is not true of everyone, but could also piss off some hosts. So yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, Craig's pretty laid back, so a host would have to definitely get worked up to kick Craig out of the game. My third one, I went Towns, just because I thought that might be like a little of a wild card there. But obviously, Towns really doesn't like when he doesn't get his niche questions right, and he basically thinks the host is wrong if Towns is wrong. And maybe if things are going the wrong way, that could come to a head, probably spurred on by Neil in some fashion. And maybe he'll just snap. Towns, relatively even keeled guy, but maybe something will just, really get his blood boiling, and something will explode there in a game. Your next one is Mars.
Mars, sneaky, one of the more underrated complainers in the league, I would argue.
Yeah.
Um, he is always just like, oh my god, and I don't know. He always has something to say, but people just kind of tend to forget about that. But I could totally see him just really snapping and taking it up a notch.
Yeah. Okay. I went way out of left field on my next one. I went with Nate because I can just remember the question Neil asked of the Norman Rockwell painting that said Norman Rockwell on the painting. And I remember how mad Nate got before everyone started laughing. And maybe if something that egregious happens again, maybe someone doesn't take it the right way, or maybe it gets over the top. But anyway, I just thought that was really funny. So I'm hoping something along those lines happens again, but like he gets more mad this time because
Yeah.
he can't laugh about it.
I'm
Uh,
very surprised by that one. I feel like Nate's one of the more universally liked people in the league. But yeah, I could. It would be very funny to see.
yes. And last you picked Qualls.
Yeah, I could be mad. I could be a dick. But I mean I'm trying to think of it would probably be Ethan. I mean, I have been a dick to Ethan many a time, so you know what? That's really not that much of a surprise saying I could be a dick. Yeah, I might say something like, something about his testosterone level, and maybe he's had, he just got off of a 12-hour shift of wiping butts, and he says, and then I say something about Duke basketball to make it even worse, and then he kicks me out. So I could totally see that happening.
He's not a butt wiper anymore. He's in school to become a butt wiping supervisor.
You're
So
right.
keep that in mind. So maybe that newfound self-esteem will also make him have a power trip over you. For my last one, I went with Frank, just because Frank really hates when there's an anime question not to his liking. Obviously, Frank is very chill during the games, but it's possible that if an anime question is suitably unfit for him, he won't be able to. I don't see Frank like blowing up so much that he's gonna get kicked out on the spot. I see him just like derailing the game because he won't stop talking about it for like the whole next 30 minutes. I think that's his avenue to getting an ejection. But anyway, there it is, the new Primos power rankings. A little way to honor Primos after he's gone. The wake jumper at gmail.com. Okay. Next up, we have the projected standings. I feel like this is what everyone looks forward to the most because they can get really mad at us. Even though, of course, there's the aggregate league standings and no one seems to get mad at them. But anyway, Claus, you can walk us through your list first.
Yeah, Chicken Hawks back-to-back champions. I guess by putting them above us, I'm saying that they're going to win the division. Obviously, we'll try our darndest, but they seem like a pretty safe pick at one, followed by ourselves. The league obviously has us at one. I feel like we're usually a pretty strong contender as well. Sandusky's, not to get ahead of my bold predictions, but I do think they're going to have one of their random really good years. I think they're just due, and their division kind of helps with that a little bit. Followed by Hypnotoads, who are obviously very solid, and Frankchester United and Poolway. Those three all in the same division, actually.
Mm.
Um, Mentally illest finalists from last year. I have them once again making the playoffs, and then I have the Scarlet Knights being in the playoffs in their first season, though just barely. And then Hive Mind out of the playoffs, which was very tough for me to do. But again, it's nothing personal. It's just there's 12 teams and only 8 can make it. Macabros, who, as Matt pointed out before this, everyone's out on them even for missing the playoffs once, even though they made it the 2 years prior. And then DBI and Simple Jacks bringing up the rear.
Mm. Okay, so for my standings, I went with us in first place because I can't accept anything less than that until we actually win the championship again because it's been like 3 years now. Um, I went with mentally illest in second. Maybe they stay hot after their finals appearance last season. They have on paper maybe a softer division that could help with them if they sweep 3-0 at the end of the season and they were on a 9-win pace, then all of a sudden they're like up to like 10 or 11 wins because they've added a couple based on what you would expect. Chicken Hawks in third, tough division, but they also came in fourth last season. I think they're kind of maybe shifting into like late Cavs era LeBron mode where they kind of punt on the regular season and know they'll probably make the final anyways. Um, Hypnotoads in fourth. Maybe a bit of an overperformance from them last year, but not by too much. So I think they should still solidly be in the playoffs. But of course, probably the most volatile team in the whole league. Like they could come in like 11th, and it wouldn't surprise me that much, just because that's the way they work. Um, Hive Mind in fifth. That's another one where I think the division really helps. Pool Boy in sixth. So I have them in second place in their division. I have Sandusky's in the playoffs as well. The division helps, like you said, a little lower than you, but I think they are. It's time. It's crazy how long it's been since they've been in the playoffs. Like it's honestly kind of crazy. So I think they will make it this year. I have Frankchester United in eighth, and as I will get to, I have them tying with the Scarlet Knights, who I have in ninth, thus theoretically losing a play-in game. Um, Macabros in 10th, and like I said, I don't really know why we're all putting them 10th, but you have to put someone 10th, so here we are. And then I have Simple Jacks above DBI, so those are my standings. The league has picked Lick My Claws overwhelmingly to come in first, and the Chicken Hawks in second. So the league sees the top two teams in the league being in the same division, which is unfortunate for us. Hypnotoad's third. People are very high on Frankchester United and Mentally Illest, which is fair because they both had great seasons last year. Scarlet Knights, I feel like expansion teams don't normally get like a high preseason polling ranking, but they're up in sixth. Hive Mind seventh, Sandusky's eighth. League also kind of low in the Macabros in ninth. Pool Boy is 10th, which is like bizarre to me. I think people maybe don't remember who they are or something, but they've made the playoffs both seasons in their current format, and they almost beat the Chicken Hawks. It was very close. Um, then DBI and Simple Jackson in 11th and 12th. So those are the projected standings. Take your screenshots and hold on to them for 4 months or however long it is, and we will be waiting for you to get mad at us.
Yeah, I feel like the Scarlet Knights are easily the most hyped up new coming team because we've uh, won it's the Hypnotoads farm system factor.
Yep.
They constantly churn out top tier players, and also we've just known about Surya for a long time, and
Yep.
the people have been waiting. They're like, when's he finally gonna get to be a full member? He's kind of like. Wander Franco, who was the top prospect for 3 years from 17 to 20, and then let's hope that's where the similarities end.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the wait list has been very slow to move. He's been on there for I think 2 years now, so like people know who he is. He's played in the summer tournaments. Paps plays in the summer tournaments. So yeah, definitely a little bit more proof of concept there. We know that they not only are good at trivia in general, but like this our style of trivia, which helps. But we two thirds of us think they will make the playoffs. So encouraging signs, and I have them tying for eighth. So those are our projected standings. Next, we have our bold predictions. The other thing we get made fun of for. You will go first, and here is your first prediction.
Yeah, so I've already spoken on this a little bit, but Sandusky's comes in third. So they've had a couple in a typical year. They usually chill out around like the 8-9 range, but every once in a while they're either the 1 or the 2 seed. They've been a 1 seed one year and a 2 seed a different year, and I could see them definitely winning their division. I think the big thing with them is for as long as they've been in the league, I just think they haven't found a good consistent niche rotation, and I think if they could finally get that, then they could be really dangerous this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Of course, came in second place, made the final, came in first place, and became the first one seed to lose in the first round when they lost to then Team Priapism in season four, I think. Okay, my first bold prediction is that the Scarlet Knights will struggle at first, but then get hot to tie for eighth place, where I think they'll lose in a tiebreaker to Franchester United. My thought process here is that we know they're good at trivia. I think that this league has a learning curve with the niches and kind of figuring out what you're best at, and maybe that hinders them at first. But I think they'll be quick learners since they already have some experience with the league, and then they'll start to win a lot of games down the stretch and make a real run at the last playoff spot, but ultimately fall just short. Um, Here is your next prediction.
Yes, I will say Surya doesn't live up to the hype. Uh, I should know better than anyone that playing well in the season in the summer tournament does not mean you will play well in the regular season. And I think we've seen a couple times from players who we've built up in our heads. I think Towns did this to a certain extent where we expected him to be very very good, and he was just a little bit below that. I do think the team is very talented and will make the playoffs, but I don't see Surya scoring 4 points per game like he did in the summer tournament.
Fair enough. Anyway, excuse me. Okay. I have Mentally Illest will take advantage of their division and increase their likability. Mentally Illest made the final last year. I think things have really clicked for them, and I think they're in have a good system now with like the auto phone gym on a sports category. Brian can kind of bail them out on like basketball or football if it's doable, and Andrew can pitch in with some things sometimes too in sports. Steven's been studying his college sports, so I think they're figuring it out. That's why I have them second in my standings. And then of course season one Mentally Illest, big learning curve for them. Not the biggest sports guys. They did not make it a secret that they were unhappy with the format and stuff, but now they've kind of settled in. Um, and they've been an enjoyable team to play against or to host in the last season or two. And I think that will only increase with their success increasing. So I think this is going to be a big season on and off the trivia field for Mentally Illest. That's my prediction. And here is your last one.
Yes, I'm doubling down on a prediction I believe I made last year, which is Frank makes the All Star team. It's tough because he's got two teammates who are perennially in the conversation, but I think Frank will. I don't have any reason. He's, as you pointed out, he's made it before. I have not. I think he can make it again.
Yes, the streets don't forget that Frank has more All-Star appearances than you, as does Nick Smith. Um, My last prediction is that Pool Boy will make the final. I haven't decided who they're going to play, and I haven't decided if they're going to win, but I think they'll make the final because they're due. Like I said, they almost knocked off. I'm actually blanking on who they played in the first round last year, but whoever it was, they almost knocked them off. They
The
fell
Chicken
just
Hawks.
short. What?
Chicken Hawks.
There it is. Okay, I thought it was Chicken Hawks, but then I thought I was wrong. Yeah, very close game. Fell just short. So anyway, so I think they can do it this time. They can go one step further. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now, lastly, let's take a look at the league's bold predictions. We asked you guys to submit what you thought would happen this season. We picked out some of the best ones, or at least the ones that will be most talked about. So first up, Nick Smith has said that Nick Smith will make the All-Star team. Uh, as we just said, that would make it two All-Star teams for Nick Smith compared to your zero. So that might cement you as the third option on our team.
But how many summer tournaments has he won?
Fair enough. Second, Tyler from Don't Blow It says that Neil will somehow manage to screw over Don't Blow It, despite the fact that he's no longer involved in the league. I guess Neil has a history of screwing over DVI,
Yeah.
so Tyler thinks that will continue.
My question is it a bold prediction if it always happens?
Well, the same thing. The funny thing is that Neil always goes like, huge Don't Blow It fan, love them, my favorite team, and then he always ends up making sure they lose somehow.
Yeah. Oh, oh God. My cat just ran by. Yeah, I lost my thought. You were correct. Anyway.
Okay, next. Spencer says that Cam will score less than 15 points the whole season. Some back of the envelope math says that's like basically he's saying Cam will score less than 1 point per game.
Pretty much. The I think that's a little low. I think maybe there's Spencer has some kind of agenda, but we'll see.
Well, I can't see any possible reason that Spencer would have an agenda against Cam. That's just not adding up to me personally.
You're right.
Okay, next up, Eli says that Alex retires after this season. I don't know if Eli has any inside info or if he's just doing some wishful thinking here.
Yeah,
Uh, but I guess we'll see.
I think we saw. Is Alex still working night shifts this
No,
season?
he's off the night shift.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I thought if that continued, then he seemed a little bit checked out last season, which is why Chicken Hawks only got fourth. But if he were to retire for any reason, I think it's because trivia has just become too easy for him. But I don't think that's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't see that in the cards, especially now that he's not on the night shift. He's now in Florida. He's in the central time zone, so trivia can be done before his drinking time. It's not going
Is
to
he in the
interfere with.
Panhandle?
Yes.
Oh, good. Tell him to come visit. Not that far.
Okay. And then, of course, we have the other side of the rivalry. Cam says that Hive Mind will just barely sneak into the playoffs. I don't know why it's a bold prediction because that's what's happened almost every season in Hive Mind's existence.
Yeah, it's not even that mean. It's
No,
I mean,
you
I
gave
mean
him the credit of making it.
I had them missing the playoffs, and I have no beef with Hivemind. So yeah,
Okay. Next, we have Brian, who believes in you guys because he says that non-Matt Lick My Qualls niches will be over 50% correct this season.
yeah. We need to figure out what those are because, as has been told to me many a time, Ninja Sex Party's on the shelf at least for now, maybe forever. But it's okay. I'll binge some show this week and I'll learn everything about it, and then we'll be good.
No, I think you do whatever you want because I told my teammates, and I'll put this on the record now to the wider league. I'm changing my management style for this season. I'm gonna try to be like Miami Heat LeBron, you know? Like he didn't have to be the top scorer anymore. I won back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back top scorer in the league. I don't need the individual accolades. I'm gonna let my teammates cook. I'm gonna, just dish the rock around a little more. Try to build up my teammates, let them carry me instead of the other way around. This is not a one-man show here at Lick My Qualls. We're not the Chicken Hawks. I think it'll be good. I think you're going to nail your niches. I think Brian's right. I think someone else had the bold prediction that you're going to have a breakout season, but I can't remember who said that now. But that's a bonus bold prediction that I'll put in your ear.
Well,
So
thank you, whoever said that. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
yeah, you
Um,
can go prove them right.
yeah, I'll do my best. I what you're saying, I love hearing it, but smash cut to week 2, and I suggest something, and you're like, no, you fucking idiot, and then and then you guess your
It
own
is
answer.
certainly my intent. I don't know how the execution will go, but it is my intent. All
Sure.
right. Well, that wraps us up for the evening quals. We are looking forward to getting this thing going in just 8 days. Do you have any final words or thoughts to share with us before we just wait for another week for the sun to shine on the Trivia League once again?
Yes. I will just say thank you to the Chop House for all you have given the league, all the funny goofs and fun games. And I will also say that this past week, Primos's dad's cousin was in my office recording his audiobook. So everyone be sure to buy the audiobook.
Wow, you're a natural salesman. All
Yes.
right, well, like I said, that'll do it for us. Thank you everyone for watching. Really looking forward to the upcoming season. I think it'll be a good one. Looking forward to seeing Scarlet Knights in the league and seeing all of our returning teams come back. So for Qualls and I, we bid you farewell until